morning. Welcome to VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner on January the 19th, where it's still a pretty crazy world out there. Gold has been pretty strong overnight because of basically Greenland's trading now at 4,667. Silver being dragged up with it. Although the gold-silver ratio now is probably at a stage where you should be switching almost out of silver into gold. Other than that, the markets are pretty quiet, obviously, because of the Greenland situation and people are a little bit nervous. Quite a lot of little results out there today, though, so we'll sort of whiz through and try and capture most of what I describe as the UK-listed ones, because they're probably most important. First up, actually, is Panthera Resources, where they're reporting on something which has nothing to do with the litigation case. That's why you buy it, is for the litigation case. But they do have a couple of West African assets, and they've just given some updates on the drilling from their Bido project in Burkina Faso, haven't they, Paul?
Yes, that's right. This is specifically for this Bido project in Burkina Faso. Drilling took place in the second half of last year and was first announced in 18th of July. They testing 5 targets, of which they gave specific results out on 3 of the targets here. Also, there's a maiden drilling program at what they call the Quad de Men, which is confirmed historic zones of gold mineralization. These results not particularly exciting, I would say. They otherwise reconfirming what had been previously known, relatively narrow widths of grades between 3 and 6 grams, around a meter thick, up to 8 grams in some situations. But the thicker sections are also pretty low grade. Here, like 18 meters at 0.54 grams gold. So it is all shallow mineralization. It is all oxide. That's a very good sign. It's essentially just confirming that there is a reasonable target here, but there is a lot more work to do.
Yeah. But it's always nice to have a little gold project on the side. It's a bonus, should we say, I think, rather than anything else. And obviously, it's not the only one they've got. Okay, let's keep going. Ferro Alloys caught my eye this morning. Interesting little deal they're doing with their carbon black substitute that they're making out of their vanadium project. Doing a deal with a Chinese company called Master Tire. Talk us through that, Paul.
Yes, that's right. Qingdao Master Tire. It isn't a small deal either, I would say. Non-binding MOU for the supply of up to 360,000 tons a year of carbon black substitute. This is being to be derived from their vanadium shale, which has a very high carbon content in its waste rock for that Balasosquandek project there in Kazakhstan. This is a long-term strategy by the tire company because they're talking about their strategy out to the year 2036. So we're talking a good 11 years or 10 years from this stage here. But carbon black would be something that to be derived from other than petroleum would be, and particularly from waste, would otherwise be considered a green credential for a company like Qingdao. So, yeah, we'll see what they can do with this, but it's not a small quantity for sure by volume.
Yeah, the market's not terribly impressed. It's knocked it off a little bit, sitting at 8.5p. Not being one of Sir Mick Davis's most successful deals out there. We were very involved with it just after sort of COVID time, I suppose. Or was it before? I forget. Time gets so confusing with COVID, Paul, doesn't it? We certainly were involved with the company for a little while when it was trading up more like sort of. We got people involved at about 8p, but then it traded up to 40p, and since then it's just slid all the way back down. There you go. Right, let's keep going. Pulsar Helium, which we talk about quite a lot. Obviously, it's interesting because it's helium and it's in the States. We will be releasing a video for them pretty soon as well, the next few days. They've had a little bit of an update testing of their helium, haven't they, Paul?
Yes, that's right. They confirmed essentially what they already expected in this Minnesota Topaz Project program. They do have the helium-3 specific isotope in their gas stream of what is otherwise helium-4. That helium-3 isotope has a really high value at $2,500 per liter. Now, this concentration of helium-3 in that gas stream, very low. at just 12 parts per billion in what is otherwise a concentration of helium-4 running, which is very high for gas wells, at over 7.5% in that flow. So there is going to be plenty of money to be made on the helium-4, and they have yet still to determine whether they can economically recover the helium-3.
Yep, good. Okay, a little bit of good news from Griffin Mining, which is an interesting one. It's probably, I think it's about the only UK-listed Chinese mining group that I can think of. It's really quite different. What's that, Paul?
Yes, that's right. They have successfully renewed their mining license on their Kaijiaying zinc gold mine. It has been extended way out there until the end of August of 2054 for an extension of 26 years on this mine. It's then suggests that they can go after, with development, all of the deep ores that they suspect or otherwise have some evidence for in zones 2 and 3 of this deep mine. So going to be a long time sustainable producer then, and it does otherwise carry permission to exploit the deposits right up to the mining boundaries across the entire mine license.
Okay, rattling along. Premier African Minerals, they've actually come to an agreement with Mr. Goddard.
They have come to an agreement to settle some of that outstanding bill that they have in order to otherwise get a more solid and simpler funding mechanism around PREM going forward. It's a conversion here of that of over $2 million worth of the debt of US $2.4 million plus interest, with an initial $400,000 payment by January the 30th. So, and they'll be able to make stage payments in installments out until November of this year. So it's progress being made with that contractor, and that's specifically on the mobile equipment that contractor's been supplying to the Zulu operation there in Zimbabwe.
I did actually meet Mr. Goddard when I was in Zimbabwe visiting just over a year ago. Quite an interesting character. Let's just finish up on a domestic miner out of Wales, Anglesey Mining. They're doing a capital reorganisation, Paul, aren't they? Do you want us to comment on that?
The capital reorganization is underway for Anglesey Mining. They have this Paris Mountain VMS project on the island of Anglesey that they would like to essentially put into redevelopment here, but the capital structure of the company leaves some issues that otherwise need to be dealt with. So they are considering a consolidation of shares here of one new ordinary share. Therefore, I'm trying to see where the amount is here. I'm missing the amount from what I'm looking for, but it is a consolidation of shares. And they had already taken in 350,000 pounds from Energold, one of their key contractors on the project. The annual general meeting to approve the changes would be on February the 12th.
Yeah, it's a
10 for 1,
1 for 10, all right?
Yes,
And
1 for 10.
You end up with the deferred share, which actually is pointless, but you have to do it just to restructure correctly, but they're not worth anything. So that's the answer to that. And finally, on that note of domestic mining, don't forget, on Thursday we had the VSA Vision contest, where we have some amazing companies presenting in as a competition. Origo, Cornish Metals, Equipmake, Ionic Rare Earths, Northern Lithium, Quadrise, Recycle It Global, and Star Energy. And we have Richard Tice as our guest speaker. So there's still time to register and come and listen to that. Should be a fascinating lineup. On that note, thank you very much, and we'll be back tomorrow.
See you then.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.